What's up, everybody? It's your favorite marksman's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the S.H. Figuarts Deadshot, which I'm really looking forward to because I love S.H. Figuarts. I love DC Comics. I don't love this movie, but I think I'm going to be okay with it ultimately. That being said, let's just get started looking at accessories. So he comes with 4 hands, 2 stop in the name of love hands, which does seem a little extreme. I guess this is for using the guns on his forearms, you know, for that sort of a pose, but I don't know. It's a little strange. We'll talk about the detailings when we get through the figure. So we have left and right of those. We have a trigger finger hand for his right hand, and then a holding hand slash supporting the rifle for his left hand. And those are the options. He comes with this rifle, which has some gold accents on it, and I believe, I think it's a red plastic and the black is painted on. But it could be a black plastic and the red is painted on. Either way, it's good enough where you can't tell. There's tons of sculpted detail, and the paint is pretty much clean as a whistle throughout. Probably wouldn't have killed him to have a wash on the red or some dry brushing on the black, but all in all, still a pretty good looking weapon. And then he comes with a swap out head, which is really cool. It's the mass version. It's very well sculpted. And it has like all these little detailings down here. There's a wash on the mask itself. The gray is painted sharp. The eye is painted well. The targeting bit here is all sculpted and painted well. It's a double ball peg from the head into the neck, and then as you see, the neck attaches to another ball peg, which we'll look at here in a second. So let's talk about the figure. The head sculpt is really nice. Very Will Smith. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I'd say it's pretty close. Got the digital painting, the dot matrix, and it looks really good. Once again, like Anakin, it's getting better and better. I'm seeing it with each release. It's just getting better and better. The beard is sculpted, and then the dot matrix paint for the kind of stubble in beard is all done really well. The mustache isn't exactly even or perfect, but the lips are done well, the eyes are done well, and the rest of it is done well. It works well overall. Head is on a double ball peg from the head into the neck, and then the neck, it feels like might be on a double as well, but it could be a single. Either way, tons of articulation down to there, up to there, swivel, around, no problem. There's a lot going on here. This is a pretty busy figure. This might be the busiest S.H. Figuarts figure I've ever looked at, so we're going to try to tackle it all. So we have a light red plastic with a darker red painted on. We have this extra bit which is sculpted onto this. No, it might be glued on. Yeah, I think it's glued on. This top piece is glued on. That's a gunmetal paint. That's a tampo paint for the target symbol. The silver bolts are all done differently. This is a different gunmetal. On the back, this piece is glued on, and that's a gunmetal. Tons of sculpting. It's digital sculpting because it's like a pattern, but it's still really well done. It feels like a double ball peg both from the chest into the abdomen and then from the abdomen into the pelvis, but that might be a single down below. Either way, you can get them all the way over to there and back over to there. You got a little bit of gabbage, but this stuff on the belt kind of helps. You can get a waist swivel, but this piece does get caught up in this. Now, this is pegged in, and you can take that off. It's on a ball peg, and then you can kind of maneuver it a lot further, but you're gonna have that ball peg. But like if you had the gun in front of them or whatever, like hiding it, you wouldn't notice it and it wouldn't be a big deal. But it is interesting. It's like it's on its own ball peg so that it moves around a little bit to get you that added bit of articulation, which is nice. It's thoughtful, and they didn't have to do it, and they did, and I dig it. For the arms, you have a butterfly joint, like an old school butterfly joint that comes all the way out, so you can get the arm way out, which is nice. The arm itself is a ball peg into the butterfly joint, coming out to a ball hinge that gets the arm all the way up to there and swivels around. Separate bicep swivel, that works well. Single ball hinged elbow, that works well. Wrist is on a ball hinge with the peg, so that swivels. It should swivel at both locations, but I have a hard time a lot of times with these S.H. Figuarts getting them to move initially. Either way, you can get up, down, and then you should be able to swivel it and get the in, out. This extra piece is glued on. and painted and sculpted. This is painted with this metallic paint in the red, and then this is painted with the metallic paint also. And then you have the different colors of red as the strap. All that stuff is sculpted, painted, and looks pretty great. For the belt, all this stuff is just, it's like on, I guess they're little ball pegs, so they can move a little bit out of the way. Just these front two, these pieces are secured in. And then they have these guns in the back, which we will get to. But these are all sculpted. This is painted, the bottom piece with the gunmetal, and then the gold is painted at the top. The gunmetal is painted here, and then the clips are sculpted in the black. And then on the back, these guns, it would have been nice if they came out. And we have overspray here from the gunmetal onto the gun. So that's a bit of a bummer, and this would have been nice if they could have been removable. That's a bummer. Moving down the figure, we have these drop-down joints here. They're T-jointed ball joints, but you can get them down to there, and then that allows you to get the leg all the way out, which is nice. And even on this side with these magazines clipped onto his leg, which are painted, sculpted, painted at the top as well, you can bring the leg down far enough where you can get them up underneath. It's not the greatest range, but you can do it. Also, these are pegged in as well. So if you want, you can take this and flip them upside down, and then you can get even a further range. So all that stuff works really well, and I think it works well enough the kind of the proper way. So I'm not really worried about it. This side has the gun. Once again, you can't take it out of the holster. It's glued in. It's all sculpted one piece, and then that's painted. The wrinkles in the pants are all painted well. The belts and straps and stuff are all painted well, and then, I mean, sculpted well and then painted well. And then all the holsters and metallic stuff is all painted well. The knee is really cool, I think, because this double jointed knee is protected by this pad in terms of aesthetics, and then the pad is all sculpted and painted with the gunmetal, the red, and then the metal bolts on top. So nothing really to complain about there. And then the pants are all sculpted nicely down at the bottom with these like folds and wrinkles and such. Once again, we have another weapon down here, a knife. It swivels, so it's pegged in. I would imagine you could take that out, but you can't take the knife out, which is a bummer. And then the boots are all sculpted nicely. There's not a lick of paint on them, though. And the ankle is down here. I would imagine it's a double ball peg. Gets the foot up to there, down to there on the ankle tilt. And then a pretty decent rocker, surprisingly decent rocker, and then a toe hinge. So it all works well. It's all fantastically sculpted and painted. There's just a number of things regarding the accessories that I wish they would have gone the extra mile on. But outside of that, it's a pretty well done figure. Size comparison wise, there he is with Joker and Harley. So I think it's a great size. He's a little bit taller than both of them. I think that works really well. So he's a little bit taller than probably your average Figuarts, which is nice. I got an Iron Man right here handy. So yeah. Yeah. He's a tall fella, so that works. I think that's cool. And also, as you can see, he's holding his weapon, and that holding hand does work really well for the kind of come down piece on that rifle. So both of those things work quite well. Final thoughts was, let's talk about the negatives. I do find it better to as I manipulated this figure a bit more, to move these magazines around to the other side. It just gives you a little bit more room to wiggle that leg the way that you want it to. I also find that the waist is a little bit limited, like because this abdomen section gets all mopped up in here with the extra clips and magazines and so forth, that it's a little bit cumbersome. And honestly, the more I've been manipulating it, the harder this gun has had a hard time. The harder this gun has had a time. I don't know how to say this. Why am I tripping over my words? The harder it's been to keep this gun in the hand. So we could have held it a bit better. But outside of that, I think that this sculpt is probably the most impressive I've seen from S.H. Figuarts. Like, is probably the most detail I've seen on a single S.H. Figuarts release. The paint is magnificent, and they pull out all the stops. You got metallic paint, you got glossy paint, you got flat paint, and all of it works beautifully and seamlessly to make one cohesive figure. The articulation, we've already talked about a couple issues, but the rest of it works really well. The accessories are all good. I love the extra head. I wish we could have gotten some more hand options. I love the extra head, and I think that the gun is nice, but I wish that the guns and stuff would have came out of the holsters that are already on the figure. I think that would have been a really nice touch. I think it nails the likeness. The presence is there. Typical great material. So yeah, I recommend them if you're a fan of DC, if you're a fan of Deadshot, if you're a fan of Suicide Squad in any way, shape, or form, or if you're a fan of cool figures or a fan of S.H. Figuarts. It's a really well done piece with a couple little puddles in the road. But you know, what road doesn't have one? One thing I want to say before I get out of here is I'm using that head because this head I've seen, if you buy like an extra S.H. Figuarts like Qui-Gon or Ben Kenobi or whatever, you can swap that head out and put this head on, and it looks like that character from Knights of the Old Republic. I can't remember his name. Is it Jody? Something like that. but it looks just like him. Maybe the beard is a bit more intense here than it is on that character, but either way, I think it can pull it off. So I'm going to keep this head free. I'm going to use the masked head, which I think looks a little cooler anyway, and we'll go from there, even though Will Smith is a charming mofo. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.
The Bobby Skullface in his natural environment. Oh, it looks like he's trying to come up with a bit of idea for a skit. Apparently this figure didn't lead itself to many skit ideas, did it? Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby. It looks like you have lots of bad ideas there. He is very easily distracted. Some people have thought for years that he might have ADD or perhaps had ADHD, and had he been born, you know, maybe 30 years later than when he was actually born, he would have probably been medicated for behavioral problems. In fact, self-control would be one of his major issues.